You make it sound like a call and response, as in one particular note is going to summon a particular word.
No, it's not a note. It's not a particular note. But if I go ba 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 ba, if I'm up at ba, which I probably wouldn't be, but if I have to, I'm certainly not going to go ee. I'm going to go ah. So a note, it's not the note, but it's the register and how long you hold it and where it's going that will suggest a sound. And that sound will maybe a really interesting word. You know, it's like, I mean, the example that I've often used about this is Kodachrome, which when I was writing, and I was writing going home, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to write going home, you know, because it's too, I don't know what I'm going to say that's going to be interesting about going home. It's too conventional. But I like the way that sounds. So then I went to Kodachrome because it sounded just like going home. And then I thought, well, that's interesting. What could that song be about? You know, so that song, I don't know that it was about much, actually. What was actually it turned out that what was most interesting about that song was the first line, you know, and that was just a gift from who knows where, you know. That's another thing. I mean, a lot about the songwriting is you're just hoping for a gift, you know, and when you get it, you really are grateful. And I don't know how to explain it.
When you wrote Bridge Over Troubled Water, that was...
Yeah, that was, I think, the first time that I really was aware that something unusual had happened. I wasn't aware enough to know that it was a gift. I was too young to know that, but I did immediately think, after I wrote that line and that melody, which I wrote simultaneously, I did immediately think, that's better than I usually write. And kind of just accepted it, as opposed to thinking, you know, you should be really grateful when you get, you know, sometimes you can channel something that's going on, and it comes through you, and it's yours, but it isn't really yours. It's, you know, it's greater than who you are, and you're fortunate enough to be the channel of it, you know, and your name is on the copyright, but really, you know, it's a gift.
Talk about the importance of rhythm. I mean, when I think of lyrics, I think of how, just like poetry, rhythm can determine what words, where they're going to go. And of course, that's the same when you're writing the music as well, I would think.
Well, rhythm is, if you're dealing with rhythm is crucial. It's really crucial all the time, whether it's an up-tempo song or whether it's a ballad. Really, how much it swings is really important, because you could have really incredible words, but if that's all you've got, it's still not going to be. It's not going to have the power to communicate that a really good rhythm has or a really good melody has. Now, what is a really good rhythm? I really couldn't tell you. I can tell you what rhythms I like. But, you know, countries could go to war over rhythm, really. Couples could go to a war over rhythm. What? You like that? What? You like that? Wait a second, you know, let's call the whole thing off. And it sort of makes sense, really. You know, it's like finding out that someone is, you know, a Republican when you're a Democrat, and or vice versa, you know. If somebody likes a corny rhythm, you say, whoa, I've really made a mistake here. And the opposite. You know. But, so I can't tell you what it is about rhythm, but I can tell you this, that when you really have a great rhythm, you know it, because people get up. They start to move. It's magical. It's incredible. And there are certain rhythms that are, you know about them, you know they're going to be powerful. No, I mean, there are rhythms that people used, you know, to go to war. They're so powerful. You know, there's a song of mine called "Cool, Cool River" that's in 9/8, and Vincent Ngini, who plays guitar in my band, is from Cameroon, and he showed me that rhythm, and he said, this is a fighting rhythm. People go to war with this rhythm, you know? And you can understand why. It has a propulsion. That's a very powerful rhythm. It has a purpose. If you write a song over the rhythm that was used for fighting, you have to understand that there's something about your song that should have an aggression to it anyway, to at least acknowledge what it was that people over the course of hundreds of years discovered, that this rhythm is a powerful, aggressive rhythm. So I think rhythms can be understood intellectually that way too. But then, you know, some people are incredible rhythmic composers. Stevie Wonder is incredible, just incredible. And, you know, I mean, I don't know how he thinks. We never talked about it, but I don't think it's just an intellectual idea, you know. I think he has that gift, as do many people have that gift. It's a worldwide gift that humans have, rhythm. And so if many of my albums started with a premise of rhythm. Maybe starting with Rhythm of the Saints, which was started with all drums, was all drumming, and I went to Brazil and just recorded drummers, and then wrote the songs over the drumming, and edited the drums, and then when I went to You're the One, that's also purely a rhythmic premise, 3 drummers. 3 master drummers, really. And I would sort of compose rhythmically, you know, or I would edit their rhythm stuff. I'd say, that's good, I like that. Do that for, you know, let's do that for 16 bars, and then let's find a variation here. And then I would set up, you know, make a structure. And I think that it's fun and it's interesting to do that. I'm not sure that you can manufacture really, really great songs by coming up with an intellectual premise. But on the other hand, I really also feel that most songwriters have a certain well of their own innate musicality, and that gets used up. And once that gets used up, then you really have to cultivate if you want to continue to write. So whatever Bridge Over Troubled Water came from, it was natural, you know, to me, as was Sound of Silence, and as was Me and Julio, and all of those songs. I would say that it started to be a problem to me around the time of Hearts and Bones, which is why when I heard the music from South Africa, I was drawn to it and went and put myself in that context, because I had pretty much examined all the thoughts that I had gathered in my formative years. And I was now looking for outside sources to stimulate me. And in the case of the South African music, it was really something that I felt very comfortable with. And maybe because it was 3-chord music, and it had a similarity to really early rock and roll, and I understood it harmonically, and then it took me a while to understand it rhythmically. I didn't really. It took me a while I'd have to listen to those tracks a long time until I recognized how they were using symmetry and asymmetry, and it wasn't readily apparent to me because my mind was programmed to listen like American music, and South African music is not like American music. It's as enjoyable, but it's not really.